The highlights have been, I suppose, just one, the engagement of the children, but two, I think we kind of underestimate the capabilities of a lot of our children, and sometimes the lessons that we've planned have gone off in different directions. It's been really good to kind of, there is a focus for those children that need that support, but also there's that challenge for those children that want to go further and go beyond kind of the content of the lesson itself.
I think things like the Picoh project, yes, it could have been any other project along the way, but this was something that was new to them, it was something unique, and it was something that every child was interested in. Every child was interested in coding. It's something that is relevant to them as of now, and therefore they wanted to know what they could do.
On Scratch, it can be quite narrow. You've got that one thing, that one objective that you want to fulfill, and that's what you're going to do. Whereas by using the Picoh, it presents lots of opportunities for children to want other things to happen to it.
It can talk, it can move, it can rotate, it can show a range of different emotions. Children can have fun with it, and they can do something silly, or again, they can make it do something serious, and therefore that heightened the engagement. It made it sense more real to them that they could then play around with that tool. And then when it came to the writing, they wanted to incorporate that in various ways. They knew that through an information text, they could keep it formal, but they could also draw in the humorous side and show off the fun of that Picoh robot as well.
I really love to see the children applying ideas of variables and ideas of, particularly in functions as well, to create a more complex algorithm. A lot of children before this project would create complex algorithms, but it'd be a singular algorithm or singular function based on one input. And here you could have, simultaneously with the Picoh, several things could be happening at once, which was particularly nice. So in terms of it, being able to make it also bob its head or wait around and do things while something else was going on, that was really allowed us to take their skill base to the next level, which I was really excited about. And that really, I can see a clear progression of their skills from where they were last year to now. So in terms of assessment and attainment for the children, the Picoh was really, really useful in terms of seeing what they're able to do now, and also allowing me to teach in more detail those key skills that they may have missed out on in previous Scratch lessons.
In Year 5, we have to explain to them what a variable is and try and get them to understand that. And explaining it can be tricky. I'm not an expert in computing, even though I'm the computing lead, but getting that across to them using the Picoh is suddenly much more, it has much better results. So for example, they can put their name in as an input variable, and then the Picoh will say hello, whatever their name is, and then they get excited and they start to understand. And I've seen some of the students who struggled with that concept before start to discuss variables and understand them much more during lessons.
In terms of inclusion, the Picohs have been a great opportunity for everybody to be involved at whatever level of, of computing that they're at, because I think it involves a lot of collaboration. They're able to work in groups together, but also it's able to extend those kind of really talented children who are good at computing. And it's also, they're picking one another up. If something's not going right, they're working together to try and debug together, and it's definitely an inclusive tool.
The thing I really enjoyed about the Picoh was it did have a language function on it, and that was really great. We had one child in the class who came to the country just a couple of months ago during this recent lockdown with absolutely no English. But he's someone who has been able to access with this because of its Spanish setting that it has on there. And so he can still see what is going on with this Picoh. He understands exactly and can relate it still to this idea of some kind of hardware that would use voice recognition, and you get a response out of a clear input and a clear output. Definitely the experience for everybody, I think, was very worthwhile. They got a lot of fun out of it, and the experience working with others and seeing what programming can do in context. I think all the children could understand how an algorithm, it can be created for something like a Siri and Alexa. How does that happen? And I think now they can clearly see some of the steps towards that. By us breaking it down and seeing the lessons we've had here as a way of breaking down each of that into smaller steps until it's something that all together makes sense. And that's what I think really has excited me here, that there's this big algorithm, a lot of complex things and different functions going on, and a child can point at it and tell me that this is what this can do and this is what something else can do.